हेलो बच्चों, कैसे हो? आपका स्वागत है त्रिपान स्टडी सेंटर में। आज जो हम करने जा रहे हैं क्लास 10th एनआईएस बोर्ड का जो है चैप्टर नंबर 12। ये चैप्टर जो है सोशल साइंस का है, यानी सामाजिक विज्ञान का है, जिसमें आज हम करेंगे पीपल्स पार्टिसिपेशन इन द डेमोक्रेटिक प्रोसेस। इसका अर्थ यही हुआ कि जनता की सहभागिता तथा लोकतांत्रिक प्रक्रिया। काफ़ी महत्वपूर्ण रहने वाला है, क्योंकि इसमें हम जो है पब्लिक ओपिनियंस के बारे में विस्तार पूर्वक चर्चा करेंगे। और ये टॉपिक कई मायने में हर एक क्लास के बच्चों के लिए महत्वपूर्ण है, चाहे वो यूपी बोर्ड के बच्चे हो, चाहे बिहार बोर्ड के बच्चे हो, चाहे सीबीएसई के हो, चाहे एनआईएस बोर्ड के बच्चे हो। सभी बच्चों के लिए काफ़ी महत्वपूर्ण चैप्टर रहने वाला है। इवन कि जो बच्चे कंपटीशन की तैयारी कर रहे हैं और करने का सोच रहे हैं, तो उनके लिए ये टॉपिक काफ़ी महत्वपूर्ण रहने वाला है, क्योंकि इसमें विस्तार पूर्वक जो है हर बात पे हम चर्चा करेंगे। लेकिन आपको पता है, चर्चा करने से पहले एक बात जो मैं सदैव कहता हूँ, जिसको आपको सोचना भी चाहिए, विचार भी करना चाहिए, इवन अमल भी करना चाहिए, वो ये है कि जब भी वीडियो देखिए पूरा देखिए, क्योंकि अधूरा जानकारी सदैव खतरनाक होता है। साथ में एक इंपॉर्टेंट बात ये भी रहता है, अगर आप पहली बार वीडियो देख रहे हो तो लाइक शेयर सब्सक्राइब करना मत भूलना, क्योंकि दोस्तों लाइक कीजिएगा तो बनाने वाले का मनोबल बढ़ता है, सब्सक्राइब कीजिएगा तो इससे ये होता है कि जब भी मैं कोई वीडियो डालूंगा उसका नोटिफिकेशन आपको समय रहते मिल जाएगा। और देखिए, शेयर का मतलब ये होता है कि आपके थ्रू ना जाने किन बच्चों को हेल्प मिल जाए, ये आप भी नहीं जानोगे, इसलिए जो है आप शेयर जरूर करो, ठीक है। व्हाट्सएप स्टेटस पे भी लगाओ। दोस्तों, एनआईएस सेंटर जो है कई मानने में बहुत से बच्चों के लिए हेल्पफुल है, चाहे वो 8th क्लास हो, 9th 10th 11th 12th हो, चाहे वो एनआईएस बोर्ड के बच्चे हों, ठीक है, चाहे बीए एमए के बच्चे हो, सभी क्लासों के लिए कुछ ना कुछ जो है त्रिपान सेंटर में उपलब्ध है। तो इसलिए आपके लिए ज़रूरी है कि आप सब्सक्राइब करके इसको चैनल को जो है सेव कर लो, नहीं तो बाद में अगर रिसर्च करोगे तो शायद आपको ये चैनल प्राप्त ना हो। तो इसलिए सोचना नहीं, विचार नहीं करना है, सब्सक्राइब करके जो है अपने पास सेव करना है। दोस्तों, ये तो बात था आपके लिए, लेकिन आप देखते हैं हमारा आज टॉपिक क्या है। Our next topic is the most important here, electoral system in India. This is important electoral system in India. India has accolades for successfully conducting so many elections. But how do all this happen? Have you ever given thought to be contained is a question like how are the elections conducted in a Western country like India? Who supervise the process of election? And who delimit there is a constancy? Who declare the schedule of elections right from nomination to the declaration of results? Who are these officials called to the turning officer, presiding officer and polling officer? In fact, there is a huge electoral system that has been engaged in a managing election in India. Let us discuss its detail. First of all, here, Election Commission of India. This is important. Election Commission of India. The task of conducting free, fair, and impartial election is entrusted to an imperial constitutional authority, which is known as the Election Commission. The Election Commission is not a legal, but it is a constitutional body. A legal body is one which are created by the law of parliament or state legislature, while a constitutional body is one which is provided in the constitution itself. Our constitution provides from the Election Commission of India. The Election Commission consists of Chief Election Commissioner, and the number of election commissioner as the president may be fixed in accordance with the law. This is the most important point here. The election commission consists of chief elections commissioner and number of election commissioner as their president may be fixed. At the president of election commission of India is a consist of chief election commissioner and 2 election commissioner. This is the most important terms here. A chief election commissioner and 2 election commissioners. On your screen, there is Election Commissions of India. This is the most important building here. Election Commission of India on your screen. The Chief Election Commissioner and the election commissioners are appointed by the President of India. They have a tenure of 6 years or up to be the age of 65. Whichever is earlier, they enjoy their same status and service condition as are enjoyed by the judges of Supreme Court of India. The Chief Election Commissioner can be removed only by the impeachment and through the procedure as applicable in the case of a judge of Supreme Court. The Election Commissioner can be removed by their President on recommendations of the Chief Election Commissioner. This is more important here. The main important point arrive here, the main function of the Election Commission of India as the following. This is the most important question here. Ensure the free and fair election in the country, supervise, direct and control the entire election machineries and preparation of the electoral's role here. This is the most important function here. And provide to recognitions to a political parties and register them to the nation and state parties here. Announcement of symbol of political parties and numerous independent candidates is contesting the election. Issuing the guidelines and the code of conduct for election official candidate and for the political parties during the election. This is the most important function here, election commissions in India. And the next function here, redressals of election complaints and received from the voters, the candidate and the political parties. An appointment of electoral official and advising the president and matters related to the election. The Election Commission performs its roles with the help of a group of officials and by observing on election procedure as discussed below here. First of all here, election official. The official here is the most important for the conduct of election. The Election Commission is assisted by a number of officials at the state level. The election work is supervised, subject to the overall superintendence and direction and the control of the Commission by the Chief Electoral Officer of the state. The Chief Electoral Officer of the state is appointed by their election commissions from amongst a senior civil servant and proposed by the concerned state government. And she is most of the states as a fully time officer and has a team supporting staff. The Election Commission utilizes their state government officer for election work by designating them to district election officer, the electoral registration officer, returning officer, assistant electoral registration officer, and assistant returning officer. There is a most important post here. They all perform their function relating to their elections in addition to their own routine and responsibilities. During the election time, they are available to be commissions more or less on a fully time basis. Out of this, there are three main officials who play a very important role in the conduct of free and fair election. They are the returning officer, presiding officer, and polling officer. There is the most important officer on here. The next year, returning officer. In every constituency, one officer is designated a returning officer by commission in a constituency with their concerned state government. However, an officer can be nominated as returning officer for more than one constituency. He is the official who receive and secures there is a nominations paper of the candidate and contesting election. And second here, allow the election symbol on behalf of election commission and conduct a smooth elections in the constituency and ensure the connected of voters. This is important. And the last year declare their election result. The returning officer is the most important work function here. And the next year, presiding officer. Presiding officer, this is the most important. Every constituency has a large number of polling booths. Every booth for the 800 to 1000 voter. 800 to 1000 voter are remaining on the charge of officer who is known as a presiding officer. He supervises their entire process in the polling booth and ensure that every voter gets an opportunity to be a cast voter free and that there is no impregnations, and after the polling is over, he/she seals all the ballot box and deliver them to returning officer. There's a most important here, presiding officer here, and the next here, polling officer. Every presiding officer is assisted by 3 or 4 officials who are called a polling officer. And this officer ensure that elections take place smoothly at the polling booth. And they check the name of the voter in the electoral roll but endeavors link on the finger of the voter and issue ballot paper and ensure that the voters are secretly cast by each voters. Our next topic is the most important here, the electoral process in India. The election process is a considerable long process having numerous stages. It is important for you to recognize the various stages of the electoral process, which are as the following. First of all here, delimitations of constituency is the first step which is undertaken by the delimitation commission. And the next year, preparation and the revisions of electoral roll constitute their next step done under the supervisions of elections commission is a periodical year. And the next year, consequent upon the presidency and the governors is a notification. The election commission undertake the task of conducting election in the country. This is important here. And the next year, the election schedule is announced, indicating their date for filling their nomination paper, and their scrutiny is withdrawals, a polling counting of the votes, and declarations of the election results. The next year, allotment of election symbol to be candidate and political parties is done by the election commission. This is important here. The candidate and the political parties are given time to the election campaigns by the election commission. This is important. And the next year, the repolls, if necessary, is a constancy are in a part of constancy is done only on the order by the election commission. And countermandings of elections done when a duly nominated candidate as belonging to be a recognized political party and die and time. They die any time after the last date of withdrawals of nomination paper and the commencement of polling. The countermandings order are issued by the election commission. The election is adapted such as improper rejection of nomination papers of the candidate, use of unfair and corrupt means during the election, and dividings and intimidating of voter, or the use of official machineries are proposed by the judiciary at the High Court and through appeal by the Supreme Court. This is important. And the next point here, polling and after. Polling and after, there is the most important condition here. You must have a notice that the polling day, every polling booth is day full of activities. On the day of the polling, the voter go to their respective polling booth and wait in a queue for their turn. On the entering their polling room, the voter discloses his or her identity to their first polling officer and then to the second one. After that, another polling officer put the indelible link on the first finger of left hand in the case of a male voter and one of the right hand in the case of female voter. And this is done by there is a avoid box at the false voting and impregnation. Impregnations you must be aware in on the often and punishable by law. After the identification of voters is done by the official, the voter is given a ballot paper or shown the electronics voting machine mean EVM. The electronic voting machines mean EVM, and containing the names of the candidate along with there is a respective election symbol. And does not the EVM look like the one showing in the illustration? This is important here. On your screen, there is a most important here voting in the polling booth. There is a different area and different scenes here on your screen. There is important. And the next here, on your screen, there is electronic voting machine. This is the most important electronic voting machine. There is a nominated persons on there is important electronic voting machine means EVM. If a ballot paper is given the electro cast here, voting by the marking the ballot paper with a rubber stamp on near the symbol of candidate his her choose. Inside a screened a compartment in the polling station. The voter then folded their ballot paper and inside there is a common ballot box which they keep in a fully view of the presiding officer and polling agent of candidate. This is important. But if the electronic voting machine is used, their voter uses their machine to indicate his or her choice of candidate. And security is maintained so that nobody gets to be now for the one there is a voter has voted. After the polling box or EVM are sealed and sent the counting center, and the votes are counted, and the candidate who is obtained the largest number of voting is declared elected. The candidate who is failed to be poll even 1/6 of the total votes account their constituency is forfeit his or her security deposits. If any candidate suspected is corrupt and practice is used by the other candidates, and he/she can fill on election petitions in the High Court. If the court is certified that a corrupt means were used, the election is set aside. As appealing can be made in the Supreme Court against the election of the High Court. Here's the some term here, ballot paper. What do you mean to the ballot paper here? The ballot paper is a piece of paper which carries the name of the candidates together with there is an election symbol. It is used to be record the choice made by the voter. The next is the secret ballot. Is a voting method is which is the voters choose are made a confidential in the election or the referendum. The method is mean of the achieving their objective and security. They are the most important here. And the next here, electronic voting machines means EVM is a simple electronic device used in the place of ballot paper and the boxes which were used in the conventional voting system. It was first used in 1982 in the by-election of the Plural Assembly constituency in Kerala. For a limited number of polling stations, 50 polling stations. And during the general election of 2004 in India, election was conducted using a total of 10.75 lakh EVMs. This is the most important here.